Okay, I do understand to a degree. I understand it to a degree. I'm trying not to be annoying in the way that I'm explaining this. But what is the difference between having the bigger tires now versus the tires from last year? What's going on, guys? It is JJ here, back with a new video, and today we're going to take a look at the top 5 changes for the F1 2022 cars. Now, obviously, this is, I think, we did a WTF video, or WTF1 video, sorry, that is sort of just like this. It was just kind of explaining the major changes that would happen in F1 this season. I'm going to be completely frank and honest with you, I don't remember the majority of them, which is why I'm using this video as a reminder, because we've taken a look at a lot of the 2022 F1 cars. Tomorrow we're going to take a look, which hopefully it's in the video plans, at the WTF1 podcast, where they're ranking sort of all of the 2022 cars and their rollouts, including we might get a driver ranking video. I'm prepping for the 2022 F1 season, guys. It'll be my first full season watching. It'll be really... If I watch a whole race, it'll probably be my first whole race watching. I fell asleep a little bit during the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, mainly because I was hungover, not because the race was boring. But that was literally the first race that I had ever watched in F1. But now we're going to get deep into F1, whether it's, you know, the little circuit guides before, you know, the history of the certain courses, getting to actually watch the drivers go out and go qualify, and who's going, and how qualifying is, all of the stuff surrounding F1 when the season starts. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing testing too this week, so I'm hoping we can get some videos out on that as well. So let me know what you guys want to see. We're going to take a look at the top 5 changes from the F1 channel themselves about the 2022 cars, mainly just so I can understand what's going to set these cars apart from last year's cars, and the cars before that, and the cars before that. So let's get into the video. As well, guys, you can find the original video down in the description below.
22 season
also, completely unrelated
an absolute revolution in Formula 1.
I don't know why.
The new set of technical regulations has resulted in cars that will look completely different to anything we've ever seen before in the sport. And I thought that was a good time to take a look at some of the key changes.
My guy. How did you keep your fro looking that good? How did you keep your fro looking that good? I can't get past like a month and a half. I can't get past a month and a half growing my hair. It goes from this straight to just that curly mess. You know what? Props to him.
Changes you're going to see in this season's Grand Prix. One of the biggest changes you'll see about these new generation of Formula 1 cars are these, the much bigger wheels and tyres. Formula 1 has adopted 18-inch wheel rims, and they are clad with low-profile Pirelli tyres. And one of the factors about these Pirelli tyres is they're going to deform a little bit less at speed, and that's going to make the airflow around the car a little bit easier to manage. And airflow management is one of the biggest and most important things about these new cars.
I like that they're showing the other cars.
These new elements that come up and over the front wheels. The reason for this is to control the wake, the aerodynamic wake from the front wheels, and stop it messing up the airflow around the rest of the car. A little bit less dirty air should mean the racing is going to be a little bit closer and a little bit more exciting. And you see wheel covers on...
Okay, I do understand to a degree. I understand it to a degree. I'm trying not to be annoying in the way that I'm explaining this. But what is the difference between having the bigger tires now versus the tires from last year? And how does that exactly bridge the gap in the competition when they all have to have the same tire regulations? Do you see what I'm saying there? Like they're saying they want to break... Okay, I'm going to continue. I'll let you guys answer that question for me.
For exactly the same reason. But moving back along the car, you start to see one of the real key differences to
I love the Mercedes car, guys. I love, and the Ferrari.
How the cars make their
downforce. The Ferrari is so clean.
You can see that very clearly down here. Gone are the really complex and beautiful barge boards of the 2021 season, replaced by this, the entrance to the tunnels underneath the car. Formula 1 calls this a 3D floor, and essentially what they're doing is changing the underside of the car into one giant wing. And by doing that, the car becomes a lot less susceptible from dirty air from the leading car.
I like that they call it dirty air.
To get closer on track, and it should result in a little bit more overtaking. And that's going to be a lot of excitement for everybody watching at home and he knows us at the track as well.
I like that. I
One of
like
the most
that.
distinctive changes to Formula One in recent years can be seen right here. The introduction of the halo, a really good safety innovation for the sport. And in 2022, there are more safety innovations on the car. The most obvious of these is the long nose of these cars. The cars will be able to withstand much higher forces in a frontal impact. And that's not the only difference, but it is the most visible. Here in the side of the car will be able to withstand slightly higher forces in an accident that way
it's a bit
as
thicker.
well. But one of the key
thicker.
design differences is the car is designed to break apart in a really heavy accident so that the power unit and the monocoque will separate in a different way, not exposing the fuel cell.
I think that's pretty sick. It reminds me of the Romain Grosjean accident, where his car literally did split in two, and the part of the car that was the majority on fire was behind him. And he was able to get out, obviously, safely out of the front of the car while suffering minimal damage and burns to his body like that.
In the way that we saw with Romain Grosjean's very fiery accident.
You feel me? Listen, this is how far I've come in F1. That is such a proud moment for me. I didn't even know he was going to say that. I absolutely love that.
A couple of years ago.
Oh my God.
Underneath the bodywork is an area that I find absolutely fascinating, the Formula One power unit. Well, in terms of the technical changes, the power unit regulations are pretty much staying the same, though there are some changes to the homologation regulations. But the biggest change is actually to the fuel that goes into the V6 engine. It's an E10, so 10% of the fuel comes from biological sources. And it's a second generation biofuel, which means those biological components do not come from food crops, they come from a waste crop, and it's very, very sustainable. And it's a little bit of an opening on the pathway for Formula One's future and a far more sustainable fuel. Another key factor, which you've no doubt noticed looking at the 2022 show cars already, is the change to the design of the wings. It's all part of the same
W design, I love it.
To improve the racing, allow cars to follow each other more closely. You notice the roll tips to the rear wings, and also this car doesn't have a DRS system on the rear wing. There will be DRS though on the 2022 cars, though we're not entirely sure yet how effective it's going to be. That's rather up to the teams. The front wing, like the rear wing, is a completely different shape to anything we've ever seen before. The nose designs and lengths will change slightly team to team, and you'll notice the whole front wing is sitting slightly higher off the ground than in 2021. That's to do, again, with making them less sensitive to the dirty air of the car in front and allowing the cars to get closer to each other and battle a little bit harder during races. And making racing closer is what 2022 Formula One...
I'm glad that he finally said that. I think that obviously is, you can tell by all of the stuff that he's talking about. They simply want closer racing. Like, the better the competition is, the more eyeballs you get to the product. I mean, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix is a perfect example. It's what drew me in. It's what has led me to this point in general of me even creating content for F1, was hearing or reading on Twitter about the hype between Verstappen and Hamilton's final battle in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and it lived up to the hype tenfold. It was amazing. But having these cars, no matter how much more money or how more mechanically improved they are, be closer together, competing against each other, the sport only benefits from it. It only benefits from it. And I think that's what they really desperately want. Like, they want the likes of the Ferrari team and the McLaren team, and even you could throw in the Red Bull team competing with Mercedes at the highest level. And now obviously you could say that Verstappen and the Red Bull team have the opportunity to overtake Mercedes due to obviously Verstappen trying to defend his title. But I mean, Lewis and George Wallace, they're gonna find a way. I said George Wallace, George Russell. I don't know why I say George Wallace. Jesus Christ. It's tired, I'm late. But yeah, I think the competition in general is going to be extremely stiff, but also extremely entertaining. I'm really, really looking forward to it. We'll let him finish his talk, and then we'll go a bit more.
Is all about, and we'll see what it's going to be like on track very soon. But it looks extremely exciting for the 2022 season and for the future of Formula One.
Okay, yeah, that's what it's like. I think this is a huge pivotal moment in F1, because if they if it does turn out that we get this ultra competitive season where multiple cars and multiple drivers are all competing for the title, I think they'll stick with a lot of these regulations that are like this, which then leads to more development of little things here and there for the, you know, obviously constructor teams to find a way to set themselves apart from the pack. I love that. It's like a continuous evolving and ever-changing sport, which is amazing. I love that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below on the changes to the F1 cars. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you don't like. Let me know your guys' favorite F1 cars, whether it's this year or of all time. Let me know them in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and peace.